your eyes. Kiss I. Yeah, easy, right? Okay, easy. Kiss I. Oh, baby, okay. Music. Okay, I'll try to do that. This candy. It is a bit. Yes, this is very crazy. This little guys talking to me. They talk to me always. And they told me they wanted me to share something I forgot when I used to not have this on camera. This. Now it's on. Little guys. It takes little tater. Okay, yes. Yeah. I can't see. I Your baby tired. Oh, tired. Tired. It's me, I antenna this flight pattern. This my, it was not imagination because I had this target in my, it's nice to know I wasn't crazy, you know? Like, those fucking planes are following me. Excuse a random moment for Kelly. Most moment of us good. Occasionally. This Kelly moment. Oh yes, I just cried. It's okay. It's beautiful. Yeah. The busy women over text. We make beautiful life. I got him driving food this morning. Yay! He's so much deal with him. But they made Scott bring me some food. They made him bring food. Some food. Skylanders? Oh, you want to go hang in the desert? Oh, cool. So one point was, everything in our lives is like so fucking harsh. Even when we have a little bit of time for ourselves, we go to the gym and it's like, okay, 30 minutes of cardio. I gotta do this. I gotta pick up the kids. I got a list. I gotta. And then they just play them. Stevie Wonder, Don't You Worry About a Thing. And I'm in the middle of this, I'm doing my physical work. I burst out in tears because it's just like, moms worry about everything. I was like, yeah, who has an orgasm when they're afraid? I was like, don't even take a traumatic example. Take like getting interrupted by the kids. You know, you're all like, and then, right? Completely kills the moment, right? And I was like, take that times impact after impact after impact after impact of stress in our lives traffic and the way we do business and blah, 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 blah. And then you talk about children, and then you talk about, communities of people behaving this way, and then you just see how the thing just gets like massive, right? But there are, probably me, help me, drug addict too. It's key, heroin, it's simple injections, strategic surgery, very powerful, I know, of course. I was actually trying to make a spine. Oh my god. Holy cow. Oh. Okay, you wanted me to talk about the therapy stuff I've been doing. Okay. What I learned during my psychotic break was that we don't use our bodies in ways that we desire very much, besides sex. I held a baby the other day, toddler, just taking her first steps. You know what that's like? And it's like to hold them. They seem like it's so much work, but then when they fall asleep, you're like, wow, this kid doesn't want anything. Just her whole desire was to move, towards what she desired. And I'm like, at what point as human beings do we smash that? So, what I started to do, one step at a time, was just be like, mix everything, like my art making and my physical exercise and my meditation, like just to make one thing, which just kept getting bigger and bigger as being me just being. And designing, I'm just in this like rhythm thing. And the reason why I'm in that place is because the personal relationships, and so that's this level really close at a certain, no, don't do it that way, do it the layer thing, the baklava thing. So let's say you live most of our lives in that mental emotional space, and all of a sudden your mental emotional space becomes intolerable. I made a flanking maneuver in focusing on the body, focusing on nature, focusing on things that couldn't be manipulated by others, or so I thought. And so that's why I could do something like develop this practice that I could then move into a different environment. So if I took myself out of the environment that is causing me distress, but I've done all of the other practice work, that's what I did. I went to South Central, I went to Compton, and look what happened. So my goal is to be in a place open-hearted and just not keep returning, not exclusively, to mental and emotional layers that in some of our cases can never be resolved. Like if you've been in a trauma, genocide, gang rape, or in my situation, all this shit that's happened to me, the eggs and the leg getting chopped off and all. I could spend a lot of time trying to heal the relationships that are in my current environment. But that truly would be putting all of my good energy towards bad, right? That's the past, and that's fraught. Whereas if I can just have a practice, if we all had one, where we could just get back to center and be able to move to different places and then engage with their culture. It's totally legit. It's totally this perfect union because I don't know anything about this place. All I have now is this practice. All I have. If I'm lucky, all I have is this better and better, purer and purer space in which to live open-heartedly and engage with people in their environments and listen to them. Listen, listen, listen. Listen to them. Listen, listen, listen. Desire. I need desire. I need the kind of the old and the hurt. Yeah. That's my point. It's not just looking on the bright side. It's not just being grateful. It's not just getting a new perspective. It's saying that there are so many layers to reality that if you've got a traumatized person, focus on what's currently positive and use it as a wayfinding thing, taken to a different level, and start working in therapeutic ways and drop them into a new environment. So much faster, less painful, right? Who said that? It was so great. Somebody had a great comment on that. Darn it. It was an African reference. They were, dancing, they were healing, things, and they're like, oh my God, you people want to sit in a square box and bring it all back out. There's no out, right? All you're doing is when what we need to do is Sakai, it's a river, Babakai is all and it moves a kite to sail there. Yeah. User interface design. I know, I'm working with people that are actually going to help me translate that. Oh, 46-year-old knees. Gotta watch out for them. Until somebody comes up with a nice cream that I asked for that replenishes joints before they need to be. Just a topical cream. I want a joint cartilage cream that I can start using right now. Why do I have to wait for arthritis to come? They can do. I know. Now I know for sure. That's another crazy request. They have all that technology where cells find each other. See, why can't you figure out how to get just to the target? You could if you had a value system based on human beings. Right? That's the thing. That's the whole problem with pharma. There's all this science, but the only thing that they roll out are based upon profitability. WTF? That doesn't make any sense at all. I love my new girls, even though they told me that they put something in them. There's some friggin' everything that they put in my body has some radar. But anyway, I love them. Your point being what? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Back to work, girl. Reconstruction. Possibilities. Yes. The choices. Oh my God, they're kind of giving me this vibe that they've already figured out how to turn people like chameleons. Is that true? And you guys make people look black and white and yellow and... I don't like yellow. They're not yellow. What did we decide? It was, we had nutmeg, curry. Curry's pretty rad, though. We had nutmeg, definitely nutmeg. coffee. Plum, for sure. Coffee. Maybe I work the other way. Coffee. Chocolate. Nutmeg. Into mustard. No. Into puce. I suggest a rebranding of the name of that color, because nobody, I don't care what color that is, nobody wants to paint anything puce. Put a puce bird on it. I know, right? Proud now. It's like, all right, so we're not just looking on the bright side. Cool. Thank you. Why is it useless? It's useless because the currents are always in, they're always in flux. So, I am psychotic, and I spend all of my energy in the traumatized environment with the traumatizing people. And I spend all of my therapeutic time trying to dig into something that is no longer there. It's the problem. So that's where our grid structures meet our emotional Picasso analytics. Also, we were talking about the ID, how it would work. Fine. Oh yeah, I did that exercise. So, ID. Just walking down the street, right? Okay. And I get that little bzz. And there's a male. I've already set my preferences. More than just I've set my preferences. I have a relationship with my digital identity. It's all current technology, people. This is not rocket science that I'm talking about here. So, now we need to design the interaction. So, okay, so I'm like, la la la. And I get a little buzz. And that's that construction worker moment where the guys can't figure out. They're like, sometimes she likes it, and sometimes she doesn't. It's very, very logical. All women want to feel beautiful. It's context. So, say, our profiles are matching in multiple different ways. I mean, it could be just as easy as like, well, I'm walking on the street and I get that buzz, and maybe I'm on the way to an appointment. It could just be that. Like, it could just be that from the right person in the right context. Everybody loves that buzz, right? But it's got to be absolutely perfect. And men think women are crazy. But man, if you nail it, nail it. Okay, so I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. So the interaction is just, that was, or it could be, oh, hey, you wanna, like, catch up later? That could be a real quick interaction. It could just be the little happy, hey there. But let's say that I was just kind of stressed out now. I'm just like, oh man, God, I'm single. It's just complicated. We all know this, right? And my thing goes, and Mr. Just Fine is there. And he fucks my brain out. And we say, thank you, man. Bye. That's the sort of the hookup stuff that kids are doing all the time. The kids. Lots of people do. But that's timing. That's timing. So those are the currents. Like, that's the stuff that makes it seem confusing when we start to try to look at the world through these really, there's a relationship between grid, always, and current. There's a relationship between the law and grace. There's a relationship between yin and yang. There's a relationship between now, boom. I've set my preferences. I'm not gonna go through that again. And I'm just, I need some time off. I'm at the office party. I've had one or two more than I ought to have, and I don't have a bzz, but there's a mail over there. And I'm gonna go for it. The only thing that my thing is gonna say is, boom, is this a one-time exception to your preferences? No judgment. Just, is this a one-time thing? Yeah. Or, nah. You feel me? It's just nothing but your thing just saying, did you mean to reset your preferences here? And then apply this thinking to the food, you're on a diet, you're trying to stop smoking. Most of us just need to have somebody other than a nagging parent or an absent parent or a mean nun or whoever it is that you've got in your head. Most of us need is a better voice in our head, and that's what I think can do if we nail the privacy thing, the respect. Yes, because that way, the Oprah content, right? That way I'm like, wow, I took a quiz and I'd really like to try to do that. So I set a preference, and then when I'm in the moment of like, I'm just like, just a reminder, just what if I said, like, through my Oprah test or whatever, what if it said, when you're engaged in this behavior, maybe it would be more than boom, maybe it would be, are you tired? Because 9 times out of 10, when you screw up, it's because you need to get a nap. You're just tired, you're worn out. All sorts of stuff. Prostitution, easy, right? My preferences are wide open, and boom, whatever value exchange I want to make is made, and there's no more crime involved with all that stuff. It's just none of our fucking business. People have been exchanging stuff for sex through marriage. Let's not put any morality in it. Let's just talk about it as a value exchange. People have different value sets in association with sexual relations. Cool. Yeah. Let's make that easy so that we sort of take the wind out of the crime. Here we go. I'm going to go through this tonight. Okay. I've set my preferences, and I've got a great plan on what is this doing. It's doing great. I'm doing fine. I've got a couple of guys I see once in a while, and it's fine. Mr. Wrong. And I go, wow, whoa. Is this a one-time thing? Yes, it's a one-time thing. But but what we realize in this particular scenario is that her environment had changed. So let's say in this particular scenario, there was a huge tornado and everybody lost their homes and they're, kind of huddled up together, that is going to move as we have this conversation over and over and over again. I'm going to move because of the forces affecting me as a human being, very primal need make love and be close when you're afraid, be protected, It's not about your character. It's not about you. It's that this is something that we can see every time there's a natural disaster. Statistically, everybody's self-discipline preferences will be affected by 25%. And then there's no guilt. Then there's so much more understanding about what it means to be a human being. And it's so much easier to be able to say, okay, I am either being undisciplined, I need more accountability because I keep going beyond my preferences, and that's bad for me, or I keep going beyond my preferences and feeling terrific about it, which means that my viewpoint about what sexuality is has just gotten bigger. Like, I'm okay with a broader definition of what's okay with sexuality. Or I've got a broader definition, as I do, because I used to be that way. Go to the gym. Gotta be this number of minutes of cardio. This, gotta do rotations of resistance training. It's just like bringing my joy like that. And here I am with no plan, yammering about design, painting, smoking dope. I've lost a ton of weight. Where was I going with that? The physical stuff. Yeah, bringing the pleasure back into things. So, my ideas of what proper exercise, what I thought I needed to do, just got a lot more fluid and cool, and like, I'm not being undisciplined. I'm not being lazy. Systems people tend to love that kind of thinking. You're not falling in line. And my answer to that is, there are times when 1,000% obedience, where's my attitude, is required in the case of an emergency. Shut the fuck up and do what the guy in charge or the gal in charge tells you to do. Shut up. Why? Because our environmental situation dropped our preferences down to like that. And when we drop down like that as a population, we are modern nomads together, and it becomes much more right. Versus in a situation that we're designing for Ava 2016, I'm exploring this space which will have disciplined periods of completely free flow time. I am telling you, because of my personality, I need to have certain things to shoot for. I need to have, like, a schedule. So I think but the rest of the time, man, I'm just going to do this. It's just going to be like, listen to the music and watch the videos and check out the dance numbers and learn my little part and, go hang with the, folks painting the mural and, watch the local Top Stitch fashion show. Like, yeah, because that's the funny thing. This had me in total confusion. It was. I thought I was being asked to design my dream. And so all of this crazy stuff, I was like, oh, well, if it's my dream, then bold. It's hilarious. I'm not a big fan of, like, huge stadium situations, but I love, and musicians and actors love those kind of environments too. There's nothing like getting direct sort of audience feedback from, like, an educated audience who understands the work that you're doing. And that's what we can do with social media communities. It's like, oh man, tricky nerds, Comic-Con yourselves to death. Nerd out. Nerd hospitality. Invented here. So you're just in Diego. They could do whole hotels that way and sell them out all year round. It's the nerd mecca, right? There you go, San Diego. Love you. I'm not gonna come back and live there. It's a chicker place. I'm gonna get out of here soon. So that's just gonna be really healing for me. Just I can endure most of us here, for our kids. Endure a lot if you know that there's like an end to it. I keep coming back to the contraction. She's like, oh, this contraction cannot last more than 10 seconds. Just watch the second hand. Third hand. Why did I call it the second hand? Doesn't make any sense. Flex people. Yeah, definitely not digital. It's just like, still still remember that clock. I'm so sorry. I've got big hips. So I'm so full of and my family has lots of options for you. Oh, I got good news. A little while ago that apparently it was only the petroleum companies doing the genetic big love raping of the daughters in chain patterns thing. Thank God. I'm so glad to know that there's lots of people who've been involved in this secret thing that aren't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like me. Right, so I just need to know, like, what I'm shooting for by the time kiddo, because I need to be here until she finishes high school in some capacity. I can still travel, obviously, just like any working mom. Excuse me. Oh, you're tired. So I got that right. God. Okay, so I got everything you needed. Love you. Be alright. Okay. Because I know, it's like, I'm happy to get all the points on video. Because I'm so not in a place to do the blog post. Love you.